Hey everyone, welcome back, and I am back to do a reading for you. So this time, we are currently day 22, 21, 22 into the government shutdown, and we are now going to be in the longest shutdown in US history, right? So the longest one happened during the Clinton era, and here we are now in the Trump era. I am clearing my board, clearing my table is necessary. All right. So let's see. I want to be able to do a reading this time on Nancy Pelosi. Okay. We already did a reading on the shutdown, and I really would have liked that reading to be done and over with, but it seems to be that reading's energy is still playing out. It's still going. Everything that goes to Trump still is dead on arrival. We have Mitch McConnell, who's trying to hold Trump's line, but have you noticed he is mysteriously, inconspicuously absent? He, on Tuesday, when Trump called a meeting of the leaders for the Congress, and Nancy said no, and he stormed out, and he said, well, we have nothing to talk about, and he left. I kind of imagined that he kind of, said no, stormed out of the room, went down the hall, went to his bedroom, shut the door, jumped in bed, screamed into a pillow, turned around and started tweeting on his phone. And, he says he didn't do that, but, the temper tantrum was quite obvious. Anyways, so for Trump, the declaration for a national emergency or a state of emergency is still in his energy field. He still wants to do it. He is waffling back and forth between, will he do it? Can he do it? He might do it. He's absolutely thinking about the possibility of doing it. If you are a supporter, your brain's got to be going crazy, and if you're not, just the American people. The thing is that it's hurting people. Yesterday was the first day that the checks came out where people are actually receiving checks that say hours worked, net pay 0. People are being hurt. And the people who are blocking and preventing us from opening the government is doing it like these people, it's horrible. It's bad, and it should end. So we have Pelosi, who's been passing bills, and each time she passes a bill, more and more Republicans are coming to her, are voting for the bills that she's bringing to the floor. Pretty soon, she will have a 2/3 majority to open the government. Now, Mitch McConnell is kind of hanging out there, being very quiet, not saying anything. I think that his cards definitely are in play. He's got some revolt. People are revolting behind the scenes on him, and if he says something to support Trump, he's going to cause a greater revolt. If he goes and supports the party, then he's going to have a revolt in the White House, and then something's really bad. So McConnell has kind of put himself in a position that he's in a no-win situation as well. Trump probably will try to, just my gut feeling, you don't have to be a psychic, but you just gut feeling, it says he's going to declare the emergency so that he can find a way out. And you guys have been so amazing. I read your comments and I'm just blown away by all of your guys' thoughts and what you're saying. And you're right, he can declare it, but it's going to immediately get embroiled in the courts. It has to be approved by Congress and all that stuff. So he knows it'll be tied up. He won't get his agenda. But then he'll be able to use it as his scapegoat. He'll be able to say, well, you see, I tried to get what you want, but it's the Democrats that are not playing fair, and they're holding the country hostage, when in reality it's him and McConnell holding the country hostage. My opinion, just because I see it. Anyways, but that's beside the point. So we're going to take a look at Nancy Pelosi. And we're going to take a look at her energy, and we're going to see if she's able to make any breakthroughs. She seems to be, it really feels like she's kind of like cranking that rusted wheel. It's starting to move forward. She's cranking it. She's getting the motions moving, and more Republicans are going over because they're hearing from their constituents back at home in their own states, and they are hearing that people are suffering. So they're starting to come, they're starting to come over, and they're starting to work through that. The other thing that I wanted to do is to just quickly say, hey, have you noticed about the Mueller investigation? Michael Cohen has agreed to testify in front of Congress before he goes to jail to start his term in his sentence. He's still on that path of redemption. People, it's funny when you listen to the news and the anchors talking about he's trying to say, he's trying to repair his image. And he goes, well, I think he's been doing that for quite a while. If people are just starting to notice, great. But he really is trying to right wrongs. And he knows he's done wrong. That's why he's not contesting. I'm sure he's getting some advice, counsel advice from the Mueller investigation of what he can and cannot say, that it doesn't jeopardize the current investigation. Manafort, that was an interesting one. His lawyers went in to try to give a response to, his claims that, that he has lied to Mueller and that he's broken his plea deal. And they went in and they were trying to do it under seal, but then they did a redacted version, but somebody messed up. And the reporters immediately figured out you could just highlight the text and then copy and paste it onto a Word document, and voila, what's underneath that black bar was revealed, and we discovered a lot of things, and it's not good. It is, in my opinion, Mueller's got stuff, and when it starts coming out, it's going to come out. It's going to come out hard. It's going to surprise a lot of people. It's not going to surprise some people. So we're definitely in for a ride. Okay. The other thing is that I wanted to share with you. I have a new crystal here because I'm doing a reading for Nancy Pelosi. And I will do a reading on the update on Mueller because, I did a reading before. It says things are going to begin happening. We'll figure that all out. Here we are. This is my new crystal that came. So this is a citrine, okay? And this is a natural citrine. Look at how pretty that is, right? This is a cathedral crystal. And this is a natural citrine. This is from the Congo. And then the reason why I'm bringing this in, because this is the manifestation crystal, okay? And I think I want to put it in for the Nancy Pelosi reading because we really need some creative energy. This is great for creativity, manifestation. So if you all are about, law of attraction, this is a great crystal to have. I have this in here to bring some manifestation, to bring some creativity, to hopefully figure out if we're going to finally get an end to this government shutdown sooner rather than later. So we want to see how she's doing. I also have a new deck, and this is called the Retrospective Tarot by Ciro Marchetti. So if you guys are going to ask, that's what it is. So it's a brand new deck, so I'm going to see how it plays out. I'm going to see how it does. I know I rambled a lot right now, and let's get started into this reading. Let us see how it goes. Let's see if Nancy can bring an end to this shutdown. Okay? All right. Let's begin. All right. Will Nancy be able to get the wheels moving and bring an end to the shutdown? She has been able to bring more and more Republicans over to her side, or to vote for the bills that she's placing. And they're really kind of common sense bills right now. These are common sense bills. Get the government running. Nancy, is she going to succeed in getting, or is she going to negotiate? Is she going to concede? What is she going to do? Is she going to give in to Trump's demands to get the thing open? Is she going to hold her grounds? Is she going to be able to get McConnell to do something with Schumer? All right, let's see. We will do a cross see how it goes. This is a new deck, so it's quite stiff. All right. Let's see what happens. All right, here we go. Will Nancy be able to make movement? Will she be able to make movements to open the government and get the people their paychecks back? Okay. All right, this is the 9 of Cups. This is my trump card. All right. This is also the hopes and wishes card. So, this is the gathering card. This is, I would probably say that, if you look at this in 2 different ways, all right, this is the Trump card. This is the center of the tension. The tension is on Trump because the 9 of Cups is my Trump card. But you also can say wishes granted. This is the wish card. This is the gathering card. This is the gathering of the people card. Maybe, a lot of times if this was a personal reading, it's like, hey, are you going to throw a party? She's gathering all the people. It's all the gathering card is the wish card. This is a very positive card in that respect. But it also would tell me that Trump is the center because this is the Trump card. Okay. Trump is in the center of this reading. All eyes are on what he's going to do. They are all trying to figure out what is he going to do because he is really unpredictable. Well, he's predictable in the fact that he's going to change his position 100 times and then he'll probably announce his intentions on Twitter. Okay, that's just the way he works. So this would be the wish card. And it looks good. It's the gathering. So there she is. She's presiding over these gatherings. All right. The crossing. Heartbreak. This is the 3 of Swords. This is the heartbreak. So the crossing thing is that this is kind of showing the urgency. People are suffering heartbreak. People are suffering. People are, the government is suffering. The parties are suffering. The constituents are suffering. America is suffering. So we have a bunch of urgencies. There's a lot of suffering going on. So this gathering is the result of the suffering. So, and that's the challenge. How do you stop this challenge? Okay. How do we end the challenge? Or end the shutdown? How do we do that? So we have some suffering here and she's going to have to work through that. And probably in a lot of ways, the people are losing faith in their government and the constituents. So that's why you have a lot of scurry and activity behind the scenes because, these guys are like, we voted for you, do something. So we're not getting our paychecks. We're being forced to work without pay, we have people calling in sick and not going. Pretty soon we won't have a TSA. We won't have, border security because, and that was his platform. Trump's platform is security. But since he's not paying any of those people, they're not going to be there because they're only going to work so long without pay and then they're going to go. All right. So we got a lot of suffering that's going to go. And this is presiding over those meetings in order to get something moving forward. All right. So the past. So the past is this new opportunity. So there has been opportunity. So this was the new opportunity, new money presented, new things. So what is the newness? All right. This is the new seating, right? The new seating of the House members, the Senate members, the new people who have been elected. They are now seated. This is new. This is new opportunity, new energies. So, this is the shutdown because that's something new. It's like we got, well, it's not that new, but it was new in the past, meaning that we were heading towards an agreement. And then Trump got word that, he's weak if he signs the agreement. So he decided to not sign the agreement. And here we are sitting here. So this is that new thing, that new surprise, that new energy that went forward in the past that caused where we are right now. Okay. So underneath all of this, change, death, transformation, rebirth, death. So underneath this is the death card, okay? So here we are with death that sits underneath, okay, of all of this. would be the death, I would think, of. This is the goal. This is the goal. This is the underlying motion to all of this, is bringing an end to the government shutdown. So this is the death. That's the underlying motion. Everything is to bring an end to this, kill it, bring it to an end so that we can begin anew again. All right. So here we are. She is working diligently on that. All right. And at the same time, this is bringing the end to other things. There's changes coming. So this is, and when I look at this in this context of this card, death is like, and I've said it before, when the death shows up means change is inevitable. Something will end and it's going to happen. How we respond to it is going to be vitally important. How you respond to this change, this inevitable change that is happening. So inevitably, the shutdown will end. The question is when, how, but it will end. But what are the changes that are going to happen? Are we going to finally change the rules that people don't get hurt when Congress and the presidency or whatever is going on, when they decide they can't agree, that they can just arbitrarily harm people by not giving them pay and make them work for free? That's not so. Change. This is actually, in my context, this would be a welcome change. This would be a welcome thing for all of us who are being affected by this. Okay. So let's move on. In the future, battles. All right. The 5 of Swords. The battles are occurring. All right. So they're going to fight. So there's going to be a lot of fight, and I think that we can see that coming. All right, so there's a lot of fight, but who's going to come out on top of this fight? That's what I'm curious about, right? So we have the battle card. We have these swords all drawn. People are ready to go into battle. They're fighting. It is going to continue. We're not going to stop with the fighting. They're still going to fight with Trump. It's still going to. He's still there in the situation. So there's going to be a lot of battles moving forward. A lot of battles moving forward in the future. So I haven't seen a complete end to the shutdown, but I can see the fight. The fight is going to continue. They're going to fight. So I don't see any caving in by Nancy Pelosi to Trump's demands right yet. I just see the fight, the battle. Okay, what sits above? This is the Knight of Coins. All right. So the Knight of Coins is a knight. They definitely, they don't knight, like the Knight of Swords is the charging into battle. You have the knight holding the sword on the back of his horse and just charging. The Knight of Coins is usually on his horse, and they are steadily moving forward. So there's a plan of action. She has a plan of action. She's got everybody moving in this coordinated event. They are moving forward step by step. It's methodical, it's purposeful, and they're not trying to make any missteps as they move along in trying to do this. So they're being, they're thinking things through. All right? They're thinking things through. These cards are bigger than my other cards, so I'm trying to make room here. All right. Let's see how she sees herself right now. And 6 of Cups. Well, this is interesting. This is the nostalgia card. And I would probably say that she sees herself, she's been Speaker of the House before. Then when they lost the House, right? Then the Republicans take over, and then she loses that speakership. So here we are back again, and she is once again the Speaker of the House. So she sees herself this way, and there is this nostalgia of being able to bring order, restoring order back into play again, right? So there is this nostalgia. There's also the presiding over the youth. Okay, so there's all these newly elected congressmen that are coming in, and she is now presiding over all of this youth as well. So she has a lot of responsibility, and she feels that responsibility. There's some nostalgia of the past when she was speaker before, and returning to that mantle, as well as presiding over all these youth that are coming in. So I think when you look in context of the Nine of Cups being the wish card, and the person who is presiding over the gathering, this would be her, and this would match this. Okay, so she is the person. She's kind of like I'm looking over all of you guys. There's that hopeful feeling on this. You know what I mean? There's some hopefulness in this, because of this card. That's the only reason why. So is it a longing for? Is it kind of like a longing for an idyllic past? It's possible. It could be there. But I definitely feel like that she definitely sees herself as returning back to power, that old nostalgia feel, that strength that you get when you come into a position of power, and the new people that she's presiding over, the new youth that are coming in, and these are our new congressmen in the future. All right. How the environment is now. The Page of Wands. So here we are on this new adventure. The Page of Wands is this new adventure. Right? They are, so when you're talking about bringing in the youth, she is presiding over a very eager and enthusiastic bunch of people who are anxious to be able to get in there and do their duties. So I think she's presiding over that. That's the environment that she is presiding over, and she's going to use that youthful energy in order to help push things forward. The question then becomes still, can she break the gridlock? Can she stop and put an end to this? So I see her gathering the forces. They're getting a game plan. So far, we're looking at a game plan. All right, hopes and fears. The King of Cups. So here we are. This is the hopes and fears. The hopes is getting this king. So the hopes is to be able to get an emotional, stable king, an emotional and stable king, to get the guy stable and emotionally stable and empathetic, care for the people, get the government open, understand the damage you're doing, and get the government open. So hopeful is to influence the King of Cups. Oh my gosh. This is Mitch McConnell. Influence him. This isn't, Trump is the center of it, but this is Mitch, because this came up in Mitch's reading. Mitch McConnell's reading. He was the King of Cups. Here he is. So the hopes is getting Mitch to come on board. Let's get the government running. Let's get the thing going. We can override the president. We can override the president's veto if we get 2/3. So that is what she's hopeful for. She is, and obviously the fears would be he ain't going to come aboard. He's going to hold his hard line, and then we're still going to be stuck. So she is working on Mitch. She is going, come on, we got to get this going. We got to move this forward. All right. So she is hopeful. She's working on Mitch. That's Mitch's card, because he showed up as the King of Cups in the last reading. This is Mitch's card. She's working with him, because between her and him, they can open the government. All right. Outcome. Ooh. Empress. The new birth. Pregnant with new possibilities. About to give birth. About to start something. About to begin anew. About to bring about new nurturing. To give new life. To nurture things forward. All right, so this is pretty positive. But it's not going to be easy to get there, because you got this fighting. You got this fight. It's fighting. And it's Mitch she's focused on. She's focused on him, to get him on board with the Republicans, to get the government open, because I think the thing is I think they pretty much know that Trump is unreliable. So at least she knows, even if Mitch may be unreasonable, if she can get him to finally break his position, break his stance, and Mitch is under pressure by his own party, this can possibly become the outcome. The Empress, it's the new birth. It's the end of the government shutdown, and we can begin anew again. But it's going to be a fight to get there. All right. Let's keep going. Oh, and then there's the new energy. All right. So there's the new energy. This is the Ace of Wands. This is the new ideas coming forth. This is the new ideas going into motion from the new birth. So the birth with possibilities. So we have the new energy moving forward. The reason why I'm holding it, I got to figure out my lighting. It's kind of weird that I got a lot of shadowing going on here. Anyways, but this is the new birth. This is the new beginning. This is the new push. This is the forward motion. So we have new energy going but they're moving along methodically with purpose. There's a reason for every step they're taking. Okay. So there you go. And let's look at this card. But who's going to feel loss? So we have loss here. There is loss. But it doesn't matter. We can get things going. We can get things moving forward. They can get things forward. So we're going to have this battle is still causing disappointment. All right. There's still disappointment. I don't think this is necessarily loss. It's like, even though we get this new thing, people are still disappointed. People are still disappointed that the government could even use people as pawns in their games up there. Now they're going to say it's not games. Okay. It's, border security is important. Border security, to me, border security and immigration go hand in hand. We need both of them because it's not just a wall. There's so much more to it. There's people coming in and overstaying their visas and all this stuff. That's another discussion. But the people are going to feel loss. There is loss going on. There's disappointment going on. People have lost. Will they be able to recover what they are? The power. Who is losing? There is some disappointment. So I kind of, in some ways, the new beginning is, I would say that this is kind of how it feels. I can see that there's going to be cooperation, right? And it's going to be able to end it down. But afterwards, it's like the two parties fracture again and continue to hold party lines. So then we're back again to the beginning, where we're not working as for the country. We suddenly reverted back to parties. Remember, old habits die hard. We've been doing this thing through the Obama years, ever since the Republicans versus Democrats thing. They're going to revert. So we're going to unite. We're going to get this done. This is going to close. So I think Nancy will have the ability to get the wheels moving. McConnell, I think, is her focus. But even after it's all said and done and we get everything moving forward, people are going great and having a good, going great. And we have this new energy going forward. We somehow revert back to party lines. And this is the one thing that we don't want to do. We need a government that works for the people, not for the party. So we're going to still, I think, suffer back into, party lines, and we might be having a little bit of an issue there. So I believe in this reading that Nancy will be able to make some headway. It looks like she's going to be able to get something going. And her focus, even though Trump is the center of everything with the 9 of Cups here as my Trump card, but her focus is really on McConnell and getting him to come forward and get on board and say, okay, we've got to end the suffering of the people because the president's not going to do it. He's holding his line, everything dead on arrival. So okay, I know I rambled on. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and we will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.